So when it comes to these kind of political issues, it's normally quite difficult to even give your opinion about, because somebody can easily mistake you for actually speaking for a particular party or a particular person due to your political affiliation. But then outside of politics, we are Ghanaians, and that's the most important thing I think we should focus on. So when it comes to issues in relation to nation building, issues that directly affect us as Ghanaians, sometimes even though there are real struggle or real obstacles in relation to speaking to someone, speaking on some of these issues, Charlie, if we put them aside and do justice to them. So what am I arriving at? Now, the Honorable Deputy Minister of Transportation, Dorcas Affo-Toffey, has actually said something that I believe that it's one, what she said actually is something that we are all trying to find solution to it in relation to the transportation. Yesterday, I even sat here and I spoke about the fact that there's a lot of stress in relation to how people are conveyed from one place to the other in Accra recently. And Charlie, we try to find solution to you get because this is Accra. This is where this is the economic capital of Ghana. So when certain things are not being handled well, it will go a long way to affect the nation. So some of these transportation issues, I've actually taken the time to go to the street and spoken to some of these authorities at the transport union, and they are also trying to find out solutions to this problem, but they are also in some kind of expectation that we voted for a government and we voted for elders or leaders to actually make some of these tough decisions for us. Because for them, or to them, from what they said that it's because there's a lot of people trooping in Accra. Okay, and I believe it's also in line with what the Honorable Deputy Minister of Transportation said, that the reason why there's a lot of people in Accra, there's an issue with transportation of late. If you say, right, as NDC come power and then can regulate the economy, or things are in place in a certain kind of way to the extent that Accra has become very attractive to people that are outside of Accra, or in other words, people that are not in Accra in other areas of Ghana. So that's why it seems like a lot of people in Accra, or Accra is becoming overcrowded to the extent that the buses or the transportation system we have currently is not able to take care of the number of people in Accra.
Because the economy is also so good, a lot of people migrate or coming into the big city, to Accra and all that. So it's causing a lot of congestion, because prices of fuel is gone down, prices of food stuffs have all gone down. So people are now happy. I'm not saying because of that, we shouldn't do anything. Don't get me wrong, but we are working very hard to make sure that more buses are procured. Of course, Ajalolo is also working right now.
Now, she emphatically also stated that she's not in any way saying that because of this, she's trying to excuse the authorities from actually doing something that will finding solutions to this problem. And she went on to say that as she's speaking, there are also buses, they are working on, getting buses to actually ease the situation, including our yellow buses and stuff. But most people are not really happy with what she said, because they believe that it's more or less like she's doing more of damage control in a certain sense. It's like she's killing two birds with one stone. One, she's doing damage control, and at the same time, she's using the problem that we have to sort of advertise their government. Okay, so it's like we have a problem. Okay, we voted for the government to actually come and solve our problem for us. Okay, and there's a problem. So people are expecting them to actually find solutions to the problem, not to tell us that it's because your government is working in a certain way, or they are doing a diligent job and the economy is good. That's why it has created another problem that we seems to not find a solution. And most Ghanaians are, when you go to the net, people really verse, as the woman talked, that people really verse, and they are, expressing their displeasure in so many ways, because this is something that directly affects everyone. Most people in Accra don't have their own source of transportation, their private cars. So the large majority of people have to rely on commercial vehicles. So this is a problem that directly affects the people. But I think the problem is sometimes some of these ministers, they are not directly affected by what is actually happening on the ground. So it becomes very difficult for them to relate with the struggle or the stress that is on the ground. Okay. So when they are speaking about this issue and you are not careful, they come off a bit aloof or insensitive to a certain extent, to an extreme extent. Because how can I relate to your pain if I've not experienced it, or none of my family members even experienced it, for them to even tell me how it feels to actually stand, like, let's say 5 hours in a queue and waiting for a trosky. So sometimes you know go feel blame them because they are not on the grounds to face what we are facing. Some of us are facing. So sometimes when they speak this way, it's like one of those, to them it's one of those things. It's normal, okay, because there's no way she's going to take trosky. Even if she's going to take trosky, it's perhaps not going to be the trosky you and I take. You Bob. So she's perhaps going to even queue. No, it will be difficult for her to even queue. There's no way. But if she's in a position whereby she's going to queue, she spent a week when she's going to the office and she's mandated to actually go through what the ordinary Ghanaian has to go through by queuing for long hours before it gets to its time. I believe some of these conversations or some of these submissions will be very difficult for the person to morally even come up with. But since, okay, they have their own stuff, and I mean, they are not directly experiencing what the populace are experiencing, some of these conversations can easily come up. We are not in any way saying that what she said is not true or is true. We are just saying that, well, because she is close to whatever is happening. I mean, she's in the Transport Ministry as a deputy Transport Minister. I believe there's a lot that she's previewed to that you and I perhaps are not previewed to. So it's not like we are totally, dismissing what she's talking about, but from what she said, it sounded a bit some way, like, say, because the economy is good, then many people are trooping into Accra because the economy is good. Because if you say the economy is good, the economy is not only subject to Accra. Accra is just a little fraction of the Ghana population. So if per that analogy or per that reasoning or logic, right, the economy is even good, that should even be the reason why some of us or most people that are in Accra that perhaps traveled away from their towns to come to Accra in search of greener pastures, you go back home. Because says it's if you are Joa, who be there on crying. And if you come up for, like, let's say Eastern region or like Kumasi, come Accra, so they can't hustle. Charlie, the stress here. Sometimes transport, even look at the rent in Accra, right? Crazy huge sums, right? So if you come to Accra and realize, okay, that the current government has actually sorted out issues and the economy is very good, why don't we go back home and then go and deal with maybe a more manageable standard of life there? That would have been more. So she's speaking the way she's speaking, that is because the economy is good, as people are trooping in Accra, is practically I don't know, man. It doesn't sound good, bro. It doesn't sound good. It's some of these things. I think it's a bit of, we expect people in authorities to sort of be able to feel through the emotions and what the people on the grounds are actually feeling. So when some of these utterances are actually submitted, it kind of comes off a certain way, even though there's much respect that we hold for them as our leaders. But when some of these speech are actually submitted and then it goes to the media, it makes people really pissed, because they feel like because you are not experiencing what we are experiencing, you are not talking in a way that sort of calms or comforts the people that are actually facing the real struggle or the stress. You get it? So it's I don't know what you think about this. Do you think that's what the Honorable Deputy Minister of Transportation is talking about, that because they have reset the system and now the economy, the B, and they must so as a high sense, like it go low. So right now, people, they trooping into Accra. They trooping into Accra because Accra can make sweets. Accra be there, so go for Baha. And that be why, right, these transportation can make stressful. Do you think that's the reason why? What do you think about it? Do you agree with what the Honorable Minister Honorable Deputy Minister of Transportation is saying, or you think otherwise. But then again, this particular issue, it affects everyone. Even if you have your own private car, you perhaps have workers that also have to use the public transportation system, the commercial vehicles, and if these things are not sorted, eventually it will affect all of us, because then if your workers don't come in early to sort of work, then you are going to lose, part of your working time, and then at the end of the day, generally it's going to affect all of us in individual ways. It's going to affect us. So it's not something that, even if you are privileged to actually be exempted from it because you are having your own private car, it shouldn't be something that we avoid. It's something that we should find ways. Some ministers have actually suggested that we work on our transportation railway system to sort of, ease the burden on the public transportation to the cars. But I believe that's a conversation that I think the government can look into and then probably invest some money there. I don't know, but when it comes to some of these government decisions, I would like to stay away from it because I don't know much when it comes to that, and I don't know even the finances available and the resources available for them to actually make decisions based on that. So I don't want to speak based on my emotions or anything like that. I want to be very factual with my submission. So I would like to excuse myself when it comes to that. But this particular issue is trending on social media, and then Charlie, people are not particularly happy with it. And I just wanted you to be updated on what's happening in relation to politics and nation building in Ghana here. I'll end today's episode here. The name remains Donald, not Trump. And thank you for doing this with us all the time. I very much appreciate it. If you have not liked or subscribed, kindly do that for us. There's some more content in the pipeline, and I would like you to be part of our history. The name remains Donald, not Trump. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.